Have you ever seen the crocodile seats in the truck? Turn around and sit 'em down and let 'em bite your butt. See, the steering wheel is Fendi, dashboard Armani. With your baby mama player is where you can find me. Pushing through the parking lot on 24s, Cadillac Escalade with the chromed out nose, with the navigation arrow headed straight for your spot, where your wife really loved me, 'cause the sex is so hot. Put the caddy up, start the three-wheel bins, hyper white lights, ultraviolet lens, Sumo Tumo tires, and they gotta be run flat. TV where the horn go. Boy, can you top that? I'ma show you some stuff, rookie. Press that button. The trunk went and all of a sudden, 415s didn't see no wires, and then I heard boom from the amplifiers. Gator boots with the pimped out Gucci suits. Hey everybody, and welcome to what I'm going to call episode 7? Sure, question mark, because, last week I put out episode 6. Turns out that was episode 5. I can't know numbers, apparently, but I want to call it episode 7 just for continuity in my own brain. And to make it sound like I've done one more episode than I've really done. I don't know, make myself feel good maybe. Anyway, this is episode 7 of the Tap 2 podcast. You can get a hold of me by tweeting me at Tap2 Podcast on Twitter, or you can email me on the Gmail at tap2productions@gmail.com, spelled just like it sounds. And, if you just want to leave a comment below on the YouTube thing, you know how YouTube works, just leave me a nasty comment like all YouTube videos have. You're not doing a good job on the YouTube unless you're getting some horrible hate mail. So that's the way that works. Well, anyway, just want you guys to know that things are going well, I guess. We're trucking right along. Got 7 episodes under our belt. Getting nearly 0 feedback from anyone. That's pretty cool. Thought about stopping this for about 2 weeks now, but you know what? What's the point in that? If you want a super amazingly listen to podcast right off the bat, then you're in for a world of hurt, I suppose, because a lot of people have a bunch of failed podcasts before they have a successful one. So hey, maybe this will be a success, maybe it will be one of the failed ones. So anyway, hey guys, what do you want to talk about today? I am sitting in what I would call my studio, which is actually just a kitchen pantry. It's the most acoustically sound place in the house, and I got my headphones on. I got my phone recording all this. I got my notepad in front of me. What's there to talk about? Well, I'll tell you what there's to talk about. The same thing we talk about every Wednesday, Pinky. We talk about Star Wars. And not only are we talking about Star Wars, we're going to talk about some Star Trek. So hold on to your seatbelts, because that's happening. So I've wondered for a real long time which is my favorite, Star Wars or Star Trek. And I don't think that there is a good way to pick one or the other. I would, even as I'm talking about it, that whole conversation's just kind of fizzled out in my head. So, yeah, I talk about Star Wars a lot. I think anybody that would possibly listen to this has heard about Star Wars, and I don't need to keep rehashing it. Don't have a lot to talk about, so I'll tell you what's going to happen. I am going to tell you why, and I'm making this all up on top of my head, just throwing it out there. What is this whole podcast episode going to be about? I could eat a Pop-Tart, That'd be fun. There's Pop Tarts here. I can name all the things in the pantry that I see. Oh Lord, there's apple juice. There is what we got here. We got some oats. Got some Simply Heinz tomato ketchup. Now, my wife insists that we get Simply Heinz tomato ketchup because, and I only say tomato ketchup because that's what it says. Who's buying ketchup not knowing what it's made out of? I mean, you know, it's ketchup, so there's that. What's the difference between ketchup and catsup? There is a difference. So, you know what? We're going to figure that out. Ooh, storage space is running out. What we got going on here? We got some storage space issues. How bad could it get, right? Okay, so ketchup versus catsup. That's what we're going with. That's right. That's this. There's a podcast. We'll call this the Pantry Podcast because I'm going to go down this rabbit hole on the internet. We're going to go to my Google Chrome. We're going to go to ketchup. Spell that right. My autocorrect automatically populates ketchup as Ketchum for Ash Ketchum. You think a grown man should have that populated in his in his Google search? Ketchup is automatically changed to Ketchum. Do I search for Pokemon stuff too often? Maybe I do. Ketchup and catsup are simply two different spellings for the same word, a modern westernized version of a condiment that European traders were introduced to while visiting the Far East in the late 17th century. That is disappointing. I was really hoping that that there would be a big thing and we could blow the lid off Big Ketchup. You know, everybody's always worried about big tobacco and big oil. I think we need to just let everybody know about Big Ketchup, but apparently that's not a thing. Maybe that's what Big Ketchup wants you to think. Here's my thing. I love conspiracy theories. And there's one conspiracy theory that I think is totally viable, and nobody really goes with it. But follow me here, because I can't imagine you've stayed with me this long, even if you're a loyal listener. But if you have stayed this long, let's go down this rabbit hole. All right, JFK assassination. Lee Harvey Oswald, blah, 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 the government, blah, blah, blah. Sure, Lee Harvey Oswald, let's say he killed him, whatever. You know, it's a boring conspiracy. There's no conspiracy theory, and life is boring and meaningless as we know it. But let's say that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't kill him, or did kill him technically, and there was a second shooter, and the government hired them both to kill Kennedy. Ooh, that's cool, right? Why would they have him do that? I don't know. Not a political guy. I don't. I know a couple people that are into that sort of thing, and they got all these facts and figures. Pfft. Well, you know what? I don't care about facts and figures. I got my own theory. It was the government, okay? But this is what went down. Marilyn Monroe, okay, killed right before Kennedy. My opinion, pretty obviously the government, all right, because she was sleeping with the president, and he probably told her something that she shouldn't know about. Well, okay, and then I don't know. Maybe he's telling the government's like, well, we can't have this playboy over here, this Bruce Wayne wannabe, walking around just banging everything left and right, giving away all our secrets. So we got to take her out. We got to take him out. It's a whole thing. And then later on we got to take out his brother. What's up? Well, that's the theory too. But here's my theory. All that totally happened. But here's the way it went down. So Marilyn Monroe is banging JFK. Okay? Well, Jackie Kennedy, was she Jackie Onassis or Jackie Kennedy? Was it Jackie Kennedy, right? Anyway, Onassis is her maiden name. Anyway, Jackie O is like, okay, My husband's powerful. He's the president of the United States. Sure, he's going to sleep around on me. She's from a rich family. She had a, they have a weird, screwed up view and version of marriage. Whatever. She let it go. He's going to be messing around, but he comes home to me every night. Well, president's birthday rolls around one year, and Marilyn Monroe shows up and does a very sultry happy birthday song to him. Right? She does that. Look it up on YouTube. It's disgusting. She does the whole happy birthday, Mr. President. I don't know. That's my rendition. You can superimpose that over the video. Anyway, so that happens. Jackie Kennedy's there. She sees red. She's like, okay, my husband might be doing her on the side, but I ain't having none of this. Her coming into my house, putting it in my face. So she, as First Lady, I'm sure, gets at least one secret killing a year, right? Well, she had to dip in, to a couple of favors probably. First of all, she probably pulled the trigger on Marilyn Monroe, just as kind of spitefulness of the whole thing, which, again, she deserved it. I'm not saying, she shouldn't be sleeping with a married man. That's all. I don't know. It was controversial to you, maybe not to me. But, so she kills Marilyn Monroe, and then she's like, no, I ain't having this. My man disrespected me, and she has her husband killed. So there we go. And sure, technically the government, but who pulled the trigger? Who pulled the trigger on the plan? Jackie Kennedy. She seemed very dim-witted to me when she was doing interviews and stuff, but I don't think she is that dumb, because nobody but me believes that that's the way it happened. So if this is the last podcast you hear from me, if this YouTube channel gets shut down, you may have just heard the truth. Maybe the government's wanting to keep this quiet, because who wouldn't want to keep me quiet? Anyway, what else is in the pantry? You know what? I'm not 100% how we got from ketchup to JFK. Let's see what else we can do. Sauerkraut. We got shredded sauerkraut here. There is it's a 14-ounce can of sauerkraut. And the only fun fact to know about sauerkraut is that back in World War II, when we were fighting Germans, I say we. It's kind of, yeah. You ever get that you ever understand that team mentality that people get with their team? If they always say we, but not my team done this. It's always we did this. But if they lose, it's they lost. Anyway, I accidentally do it with the American wars. I say we, like I just now did. I wasn't in World War II. I don't think I was, unless that's maybe how I die. In a future me, I doubt I ever invent time travel. There's no conceivable way that happened. But maybe I'm hanging out at a place. There's a time machine. I go back in time. This is maybe next week, maybe in a couple of years. Go back in time, and maybe I fight in World War II. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe that's the way, everything. Time is cyclical. Sure, whatever. But back in World War II, when America was fighting the Nazis, there were some crazy people who said, hey, this sauerkraut stuff sounds too much like a German word, which it probably is a German word, a real butchered pronunciation of it. But I guess it's a German word. Anyway, it's got kraut in it, and they're like, no, we don't like German stuff, so this ain't gonna fly. We're going to take sauerkraut and turn it into Liberty cabbage. And that lasted a whole of probably 3 weeks, and it was probably some moron holdout. I don't know. I mean, patriotism is one thing, but being a moron is a whole different. So anyway, that's the sauerkraut thing. But fast forward to September 11th, 2001, here in America. A couple of weeks after that, when France is like, no, no, we ain't having nothing to do with that, some idiot's like, you know what? We ain't calling them French fries anymore. Guess what? We're calling them freedom fries. And so I think it's funny to call them freedom fries. So if you ever hear me talk about French fries, you might hear me say call them freedom fries because I think it's funny. I also think it's funny to call people bro, but yeah, I need to stop that because I'm actually doing it on accident now. You ever do that? You ever say something stupid in a funny way, but you just keep saying it so many times it becomes part of the way you talk? Anyway, this again is the Pantry Podcast. So, believe it or not, we actually have a sponsor today, guys. All right. Well, let me get this ad copy here. All right. This week, our sponsor is Tingle Spark brand Inebriated Wizards. Need a spell cast, curse broken, maybe a magic door unlocked, but you can't afford one of those expensive sober wizards? Well, you need to try Tingle Spark brand Inebriated Wizards. I just messed up that super real ad. You need to try Tingle Spark brand Inebriated Wizards. Sure, you may have heard a few incidents involving Tingle Spark brand wizards, but they charge nearly half of what the competition will cost. They also offer a free ride to your local warlock if you are accidentally transmuted into any creature with feathers or a tail. Tingle Spark Wizards. Get your wizard on. Okay, thanks to Tingle Spark Wizards for sponsoring our totally real ad thing for our totally awesome podcast that is not about pantry food. So, guys, you know, there's a lot going on in the world today. there's murder. There's not much more than murder. If you watch the news, if you want to hear about the murders that happened near you, you can watch your local news. But you know what? In the world of books, guess what's happening? Movies. That's what's happening. They're turning all kinds of books into movies. And guess what? Some of them suck. That's right. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I love that series of books. It's awesome. It is a total idea. The idea of it is a total rip-off of Harry Potter. But you know what? That's a great thing to rip off. Harry Potter's pretty freaking sweet. But you know what ain't sweet? The movie version of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. I hadn't read a book in I don't know how daggone long. And then all of a sudden, I find Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and the entire book series was out, and it was great. And I was like, you know what? This seems cool. I'm gonna buy that first book. I bought it, and I read the dang thing like in just like a week. You know, I fall asleep. I don't get enough sleep. I get like 4 hours of sleep a night, and when I actually sit down and relax, and I'm just reading a book and nothing's going on in the background, I kind of fall asleep sometimes. But you know what? I finished it pretty quick for myself because I didn't fall asleep very often because that book is so just imaginative, and the characters are well thought out, and it's got great side stories like any good JRPG. You got your main character and you're going along your quest, but then you run into side stories with your different side characters, and it's great. The whole thing's great. And then the movie happens, and I did not get a chance to see it in theaters. Very upset about that. I was at the time anyway. And then it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray. And at the time, we had a couple of Blu-rays, whatever. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go on blind faith because that book was so awesome. I'm going to go out and I want to buy that movie on Blu-ray. And it'll be great, and I'll love it. And I put it in the TV, the PlayStation 3 at the time. And I pushed play, and I was psyched. I was pumped. The beginning's awesome. Had Sean Bean in it. Sean Bean didn't. Wow, I just realized Sean Bean was in a movie where he did not die. That's weird. You know, like Sean Bean plays Poseidon. He didn't die. That was really cool. He's got a sweet tattoo and a cool jacket, and it just goes off the rails from there. It's just like that's cool, and okay, I'm some stuff happened, and that ain't like the book was, but you know what? They have to take creative license somewhere, and then it's like here's Percy, and Percy's like 16, and in the book Percy's like 11, and that's really something that you can't really retcon for a movie, because the book hinges on him being really young. But I was like, okay, you know what? No problem. And then I was like, I'm gonna let that go, even though I shouldn't. And then you know what happens? Pierce Brosnan rolls up, and I hate Pierce Brosnan. Now he's a good actor. I totally understand and agree with that fact. But I despise Pierce Brosnan. I don't know why. Maybe it's maybe because he kind of plays the bad guy in Mrs. Doubtfire. But I can't. I can only think of like three movies I've seen him in. One is what Dante's Peak. That's a terribly fun movie to watch. I kind of like Dante's Peak though. But then Mrs. Doubtfire, he kind of played the bad guy in that. And then what? Goldeneye. Never really saw Goldeneye, but what I saw of it, did not care for. I do like the newer James Bond movies, but I did not like Goldeneye, and that's really the only older James Bond I watched. Anyway, I digress. He rolls up in his fake wheelchair, pretending to be Chiron. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. The book didn't pronounce it for me, so that's how I said it in my head whenever I saw it. And then all of a sudden, Grover shows up. Now Grover, really cool character in those books, and don't get listen, okay. Hold your horses when I say this, because this has nothing to do with the color of his skin. I don't care what color person they cast in a movie for a color person in a book. It's cool. If it's a good actor, I don't care. I mean, the only thing that gets me is when they change. If Harry Potter was a girl in the movies and a boy in the books, that would kind of throw me off. Let's face it, that would throw me. But Grover's white in the books. He's black in the movie. Now, the only reason I mention that is because while that guy is a good actor, a legitimately good actor, I'm pretty sure that the first day of shooting, the director takes him aside and he says, "Hey man, listen, you're a good actor, but wouldn't it be great if you done your best Will Smith impersonation?" And that is Grover. That's how they portray him in that entire movie. And it's so sad because he's a really good character and he is nothing like. He's not supposed to be a bad Will Smith impersonator. And then Persephone's a whore, and what Hades is a bad Keith Richards wannabe, and it's absolutely awful. Anyway, I felt real burned. Felt real burned by that movie. So I all but threw it away. I really should put it in the microwave and you know what? Maybe I will. If I get the chance, if I find that movie, I'm gonna put it in the microwave. I'm gonna film it, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube for you guys. So look for that special episode. Let me see. Okay. And then I go along with my life, and everything becomes okay. And you know what movie comes out? Avatar. Avatar comes out, and I'm a big nerd, obviously, and James Cameron is making this movie about blue aliens, and they fly around on blue pterodactyls, and everything is just blue, like him, inside and outside. And in that movie, they had a blue house with a blue little window. They had everything but a blue Corvette, and that is lines from the song Blue. Check it out. It's a terribly good song from the 90s. Anyway, everybody's blue, okay? And what's that dude's name? I'm terrible with names. I always say, I always ask my wife when we're watching a movie, how do I know him? How do I know him? How do I know her? And then she has to explain to me that, oh, he's blah from that movie. So if you hear me name an actor by name, they have really struck a chord with me if I can remember them. Anyway, that guy's Sam. Oh, dang. Sam. I want to say Worthington. It's not, but I'm pretty sure it's a W word. His last name, but his Sam something. So that's not the point. That's not the point. Okay, so James Cameron's Avatar comes out, and everybody I talked to said, "You gotta watch this movie. You gotta watch this movie." And you know what I did? I shelled out the extra money for Blu-ray. It's just sight unseen because of everybody's review. This is a story on why you shouldn't listen to people's reviews. You should rent things and play them yourself. You should make your own informed decisions. Anyway, so Avatar comes out. Didn't get to see it in theaters. I buy it on Blu-ray. I bring it home, pop it in the PS3, and it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it looks, oh man, we got space marines going to this planet, and they're using these avatars to they're using these marines, and they're getting in the avatars, but what they're doing is they're going to the Na'vi, real original. They're going to the Na'vi, and they're trying to befriend them. And why are they trying to befriend them? Because there's a mineral they want to mine that's on their planet. And I'm like, I think I've heard this story before. Yep, yep. After the love story between the invader and the princessy type girl, I realized this is Pocahontas. And then what bullcrap happens? The exact same thing that America did to the Indians or Native Americans, however you want to say it. Be politically correct about it, but it's just what America did to the Native Americans. That is literally it. We wanted their land, we took it, and I'll unfortunately throw the we in there. I don't. I would like to think that I would be the voice of reason back in those days, but who knows? I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? Anyway, I'll go finish up my rant about freaking James Cameron's Avatar. The movie is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, but that story is garbage. It is so stupid. It bothers me that anybody enjoys it because it's like, have you never heard of history class? Have you never paid attention to history? Have you never seen the old commercial with the garbage and the single tear down the dude's face? Have you never heard of Indians? Anyway, that is the most unimaginative piece of crap storyline I've ever seen in my life. And in the end, Sigourney Weaver dies. Why? Why did they get rid of Sigourney Weaver? They're going to make a part two. Don't you want Sigourney Weaver in your second movie? Anyway. So, yeah. That is about it, guys. We are coming up on the 30-minute mark of things that I've talked about in the pantry. So, it kind of kills time to do this. I'll tell you what you should do. If you hate your job, start a podcast. Good night, everybody.